Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Fletched and Loaded. This is episode number 8. Got some awesome things to talk about today. Really excited. So let's go ahead and get this show started. All right. Hello, friends. How's it going? Hopefully your Sunday is going as good as mine is. It's super hot over here in Montana. I think it's been hotter the last few days, but it's been pretty warm, man. I can't wait to just get a house that we can put some central heating and cooling into, to be honest, because I don't know. It's going to be expensive, but I don't care. I'm going to put the money into it and get some just amazingly beautiful air that's just flowing around my house, whether it be the wintertime when it's freezing cold or summertime like it is now. And it was like 94 yesterday or something like that. It was really hot, and our house apparently has no insulation from the townhouses that we rent at here. They just don't have very good insulation because, man, the heat just leaves in the winter, and the heat when it's hot outside just comes right in when it wants to. So that's been a really fun thing to kind of deal with. But hopefully your guys' weekends have been nice and relaxing and not too hot or anything like that. And if so, hopefully it's been really fun times down at the lake or at the beach or wherever you guys are located. Hopefully you're next to a nice body of water that you can kind of enjoy your day and not have to be sweating like a crazy person. But yeah, hopefully your day's going great. It's just me again today, this week. Josh wasn't able to join again, and that's okay. He's working really hard at that same buddy's house, trying to get a lot of renovating done. And like I said, the dude's a beast. He works like crazy. And unfortunately, just the scheduling of everything, it just hasn't been able to work out with him being here. So we miss him. Buddy, when you're listening to this, come back quick because we all miss having you here. And you're the firearms guy. You're loaded. So we enjoy having that talk as well. I'll do my best keeping up with some of the firearm stuff, though, as much as I can. So hopefully you guys still enjoy the show. I don't know about you guys, but I'm really excited about coming up this week, I believe it is the Olympics. I'm not usually I don't watch a lot of stuff on the Olympics, but since getting into archery, man, especially recurve longbow style archery, the archery events for the Olympics here, or not here, in Rio for us here in the U.S., they air, I think it starts on Friday. Yeah, Friday the 5th. And it looks like they're starting pretty early. I think I saw that it starts at 6 a.m. Mountain Time, which of course that's where I'm at. So however that works out for you guys across the country. But Friday the 5th of August, archery starts. So they're going to start doing the qualifiers and all that stuff. Really excited to see what Brady Ellison's going to be doing. Of course, I've had a blast watching him shoot for the U.S. team. I think Krasinski, is that his name? Dang, dude, I'm sorry. Totally spaced his name. And then Zachary Garrett was really fun to watch too. So I'm really excited to see how they do. And then there's actually a female Olympic archer that I'm going to talk about a little bit later in the show that I'm super excited about. But the Olympics, it's always a really good time to watch. There's been some weird controversies in the news and things dealing with I know Russia's entire team got kicked out of the Olympics because of drug not passing drug tests with drug enhancements for the sports. So that's been a big, huge bummer that we've had to even just deal with that at this point. But I don't know. I have really mixed feelings about using testosterone and a lot of the outlawed, enhancements for these sports, to be honest. Because one side of me is dude, let them get just jacked up like crazy and go out there and do their sport. And I mean, just turn them into superheroes. I mean, we watch football, we watch basketball, we watch all these sports that, a bunch of us love. And at some point you just go, I watch these guys because of the fact that they are extremely better at this sport than I am. So at some point you gotta kind of go, okay, well, let them go loose, let them just, it's their body. It's something that they want to do. I understand the cheating aspect of it, that you have a physical superiority over another team or another player in that event. I understand that. I don't know, man. Maybe it's just my superhero tendency, wanting to see that, the side of me that grew up watching comics or reading comics and cartoons and stuff, where it's just like, I want to see a football player that runs for a tackle and just freaking rips the guy's legs off, from underneath him, or, just punts the ball across the field. I mean, that kind of thing. That's probably the kid in me that's saying that, but I don't know. I mean, there's probably a ton of people out there that are thinking the same thing. Sorry if you guys can hear a beeping. My computer's been kind of acting up, and I'm really hoping that it doesn't pick up too much on here, but I'm going to do the best I can to kind of get rid of that for you guys. But yeah, so the Olympics, really excited about that. Wanted to drop a little note for the local people here in Kalispell, Columbia Falls, Whitefish area in Montana, and all the other outlining kind of areas around here. Went into Spirit Quest Archery, where Josh and I have both talked about how we shoot there a lot. We really love it. And Kim and Kevin, the owners there, they're actually running. I don't know if you've heard about the Hoyt Defiant hashtag I'm Defiant. They actually did like Josh and I talked about it a few weeks ago. They did a competition, a contest on Instagram, I believe it was, on just Instagram, where you would take a picture or do a video and hashtag it I am Defiant if you shot a Hoyt Defiant, and you got entered into a drawing at the time to win tickets for UFC 200, all expenses paid to fly you down there, for your hotel rooms. And actually, John Dudley from Nock On podcast and TV and all that stuff, the affiliate there, or everything affiliated with Nock On, John Dudley actually threw in an extra side project prize. Sorry about that. Prize that he said you would be able to come up and have a lesson with him in shooting while he was in Vegas. And there was a guy that won, and I believe he was able to bring one of his buddies or something like that. And the guy actually had only been shooting, the guy that won, he'd only been shooting for like a week or something, like one or 2 weeks. And he had just gone out and bought a Hoyt Defiant and started shooting, entered this thing, and won it. So good on him, man. I know there's a ton of people that were like, man, I've been shooting all my life. I wanted to get this. I wanted to go meet Joe Rogan and John Dudley and Cameron Haynes and go watch UFC 200, but good on that guy for winning. But I say that to lead into what I had found out at the shop here in at Spirit Quest Archery. They're doing another one, which I believe I'd mentioned also earlier, where they were giving away a brand new Dodge truck. I'm sorry, I don't know the make of the truck or anything. I should have looked it up. But anyways, not soon. I can't say it's not important, but they're giving away a brand new full-size Dodge truck for the I Am Defiant contest, and I believe it's the exact same. The rules are the same. You post a picture or something like that. You go in. What I heard is you shoot a Hoyt Defiant, and they'll actually give you a ticket that's an entry into winning this truck. And so down here at Spirit Quest Archery, we actually went in, and he's saying, Kevin's just saying like, hey guys, come down and shoot this Hoyt Defiant that we have. I think they have a couple of them hanging up there, and buy them out if you guys love them, but if you're able to shoot the Hoyt Defiant and really get a feel of the bow, they actually are then entering you into the drawing to win this truck. So really all you need to do is go down to your shop and be able to shoot this bow. I think they're just wanting experience with the bow. People like hands-on, trying to get some time behind this specific Hoyt Defiant, and shoot some arrows down range, really feel for the product, and go, oh man, this is I know what that's like now. When I think of a Hoyt Defiant, I think of this kind of shooting ability. And so he was telling me, you go down there, you shoot, and they've been entering people that just come down and shoot the Hoyt Defiant. They're able to enter them into this drawing. So anyone in the surrounding, like I said, Whitefish, Columbia Falls, Kalispell, Libby, I don't know. There's a ton of places here in Montana that you guys can come down from. Rundown to Spirit Quest. I don't know if like Flaming Arrow is doing it as well, but I know for a fact that Spirit Quest Archery is doing it south of town in Kalispell. Let me get the phone number up here again. I'm sorry, guys, I didn't have that phone number readily and available for you, but it's let's see, 406-756-5455 is the phone number. Their address is 115 Rocky Cliff Drive, Kalispell, Montana, and 59901. And again, highly recommend those guys. They're amazing, amazing people. They have awesome product line in there. They carry all the top brands. They have very top, high quality pro shop, a bow shop there that they work on all their bows. They're getting things tuned up for the hunting season here coming up soon. And really excited for all those hunters that are able to go out and get something this year. I'm really excited to possibly get in some pictures off Instagram and all that stuff. So again, go in there, guys, say hi to them, check out their product line. Their range is amazing. There's a 3D target set up there that you can shoot at any time. It doesn't matter. They'll just wheel out the 3D targets for you guys. And then they actually have a techno shoot cave that's in the range as well. Of course, shooting up against the wall inside there with the video playing. You guys have seen them. They did them for like Hunter's Ed and stuff like that for the guys that have taken Hunter's Ed. And just techno shooting the arrow onto the wall, and it hits where it should in the deer where you shot it at and stuff like that. I don't need to describe it a ton, but yeah, they have one of those there. They're really proud of their setup, and I can speak for them. They have a great selection of product and ability to shoot there. So great job, guys. Kim and Kevin down there. You guys are really holding to your quality and the family aspect of the shop. They're really, really friendly. So those guys. And I wanted to give another shout out to Black Eagle Arrow. Go to blackeaglearrows.com. They're having some amazing pricing on some of their arrows right now. They came out with some brand new vintages and a couple different lines of arrows that you guys can check out there. And they sell them in like half dozen and dozen quantities with different tolerances and things that you want. So check them out. Those guys are great, and was able to contact them on Instagram this week and kind of give them our appreciation, let them know we're talking about them on the podcast. So blah, 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 blah. So I am really excited about this week. We got some really cool topics in. Got to talk to some really amazing people this week on Instagram. Love talking to you guys, man. Love the community. I've always been an outgoing kind of guy. Sometimes drives Josh nuts because we'll go into a place where, he's a super nice guy as well, but I'm a little bit more like, hey, what's up? How's it going? I'm Tony. Blah, blah, blah. Like kind of just talking like a crazy person, trying to have a lot of fun while I'm there. And he's very direct with his approach to people and stuff, and people love him. The ladies love him. Guys love hanging out with him. So, but he's always like, oh, you're so outgoing, man. It's so crazy. So anyways, but I love meeting people, the community, especially in the archery and firearms communities that I've been able to get into, honestly, very newly on Instagram. And thank you guys so much for all the love that you have given to the podcast, to me specifically, from some of you guys talking about some of the shots that I've been able to do. And that's coming up here in a second too. But, being able to talk about the family photos that I share and stuff, I really appreciate it. It's always a little nerve-wracking sharing more of my personal life with people, but it's been an awesome experience so far. And you guys have literally made this podcast roll. I just get up in front of everyone and talk, and hopefully you guys enjoy the content that we have, and hopefully we have a good episode at the end of me rambling on. So let me drink some water here just a second. But yeah. Anyways, so along the lines of being able to talk to some people this week, got to meet Chris from SpecTrain_NC from their company, and let me go ahead and pull them up here because I'd like you guys to honestly get a hold of them. They're such a great couple of guys. Their videos, I've talked about them a few times, and Chris and Dan, they know what they're doing, man. They know their way around firearms. They know their way around scenarios that they're running. Like I said, got to talk to Chris and share with him that we were able to talk about their company and the business that they're rolling and trying to get out there as an education. Told them that we've been trying to share that with everyone on the podcast, and it was great to be able to talk to him about getting the kids educated. He was telling me about trying to get the kids educated and raising them up in the correct way when it comes to firearm safety and being educated behind a weapon and in what scenarios to use it. Because honestly, with the education, it doesn't mean that the nervousness is going to just go away with education and running drills and things like that. But it absolutely will lower that nervousness, that stress level that happens. I can't really even say that it's going to lower the stress level. I know for a fact that you will then, with the practice, it will fall into a realm of subconscious muscle memory. I've never been in a firefight like a lot of our brave men and women in the armed services have, but from what I can relate to is like shooting in a competition with my bow. It's very nerve-wracking when you have to hit a specific mark and you have people watching you have a score that you have to hit and all that stuff. And I have to attribute my accuracy with the thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of arrows that I've shot on my off days, on the times that I've been able to go out and really get the time behind the bow and get my muscle memory down. I have to attribute that to that. So if I can guess in a scenario where there's hostile involved that has a firearm that's trying to do some damage, and some harm to people around, you would have to attribute the accuracy behind your firearm and everything to not only the education of safety with that firearm and the equipment that's involved, but the drills, the training, the repetition, all that kind of stuff is so extremely important that there's no other side to it. There's nothing else that you can say that's like, I can do this instead and it's going to be just as effective. That's why both Josh and I have been huge proponents for saying, get out there and, put tons of rounds through your firearm, get extremely comfortable with it. If you ever have to use that in a scenario, in a situation that calls for that type of action with pulling your firearm, your sidearm, and neutralizing the situation so that it's no longer hostile, which, again, we hope will never, ever happen. But in that situation, again, everything goes back to the subconscious level of what to do in that situation. And that goes in regards to firing your weapon a lot and doing it in a safe scenario, safe situation. So bringing that all back around here, I was able to really talk to Chris. Great guy from what we were able to talk about and some of the topics, and him talking about shooting archery and, wanting to get better at it and all this stuff. And, I appreciate the props on him saying, the accuracy that I was able to have on some certain shots and stuff. It's like, 50% luck, 50% shooting a lot. So thank you very much, Chris, for that. But all I can say about these guys is they know what they're doing. Every video, every picture that they've posted on their website, on their Instagram, has been in regards to safely operating the equipment that they every day carry. And if not everyday carry, then their primary weapons. So if you guys would like to look at some of their information, would like to contact these guys and even just kind of pick their brain about different things regarding what situations they work with, or maybe a class that they can teach you guys. I know that they run some courses and they schedule out courses for people. They actually have a couple different places. You can actually go to spectrainnc.com. So SPECTRAINNC, spectrainnc.com. You can go there. That's their website. Check out all their information. Everything they have there, you can get a hold of them as well. They also have an email that you can get a hold of them at. It's instructor. What am I, robot? Instructor at spectrainnc.com. So that will actually forward to their email as well. And that again was instructor at spectrainnc.com. So got to give you guys some props, give you guys some love. Anyone in this community that's willing to do something correctly, especially in regards to a topic that is so highly discussed at this time, talked about so much, argued and bantered about so much. It's great to have people in the community that have their head on straight. They know what they're talking about. They know how to do it correctly and safely. And, I can't say enough about the content that I've been able to see that these guys have put out. So great job, guys. Keep it up. You'll always have our support here at Fletched and Loaded. So thank you guys for that. But I did want to bring up one really funny thing that I saw them do. And you guys, if you follow me on Instagram, I reposted it. It was hilarious. There was a scenario that they were running, and they run a lot of scenarios that are extremely serious. Sometimes they'll do like some burpees before they run through their sequence to get their heart pumping, their adrenaline pumping. And so there was a scenario, and go to my Instagram, go to their Instagram. Mine's Fletched and Loaded Fletched and Loaded podcast. Theirs is spectrain_NC. And they have a video they posted. They're both in the car, or in their SUV. And he said that Chris is gonna put his firearm back in his appendix carry with the seatbelts over. Go ahead and get your ears on, because we're gonna go hot. And they said there's two hostiles approaching the vehicle in front of us. The background is clear behind them, but this is what we would do in a situation where they were approaching the vehicle, two targets in front of the vehicle. And he said, "Okay, ready to go hot," and they yell out threat, and they begin the scenario. So Chris has got his firearm loaded. It's in his appendix carry. Got his seatbelts on. Got his hands at 10 and 2 on the steering wheel. And I believe it's Dan that's with him. And Chris, go ahead and let me know, because I haven't met Dan, I don't think. But is in the passenger seat. He yells out, "Threat." Chris just guns the vehicle. And I don't mean pun intended on guns the vehicle, but he steps on the gas and just runs over these targets. And, man, dude, you had me cracking up, because I was like, okay, yeah, is he going to pull the seatbelt, pull his firearm, and step out and engage the targets? Is he gonna, I don't know, go through the sunroof? Is he gonna, I'm really curious on what this guy's gonna do, because they have such great ways of neutralizing the threat. And just to see him, man, just to see him step on the gas and just run these targets over. And I had to comment back on him, and I said, "Man, I think you hit center mass, dude. I think you're good." Man, it was a great video, great laugh. Thank you guys for that. It's always great having the humor mixed in there. So I had to shout out to them. That was hilarious, man. It was a fun video to kind of check out in between all the other stuff that I was doing. So great job, guys, on that. So yeah, check out them. The other guy that I was able to talk to again was Larry, and I talked about him in the last podcast. He was going to get a bow. He got a Martin, and so far he seems like he's loving it. So really excited for you, Larry. And he made a pretty sweet setup in his I believe it's like backyard area. He set up an archery arch with some hay bales and some target blocks that he was able to put up, and it looks fabulous. It looks fantastic. I need to eat some food. It looks fantastic. He really put some time into it. He did it looked like some wood burning on it and some engravings, like an arrow bending, and it looked like an amazing archway for the backdrop that he was able to put for the archery purposes that he and his family were going to be using. So Love seeing that. Love all the people that have been hitting us up on Instagram and letting us know how they're loving their archery setups, their bows, asking questions. I had another gentleman, I think it was Outlaw Archer. Thanks for hitting me up on Instagram. Archer Outlaw, sorry. He was asking what kind of quiver I shoot, things like that, man. It's great to hear from you guys, and we love it, man. We love having the hashtags for Fletched and Loaded. We get to see what you guys are up to, as I was checking the previous tagged stuff in Fletched and Loaded. I was going to bring it up here. We got a few things, and looks like most of them were from Larry. And you could follow him. Let me pull up his Instagram here real quick. Sorry about that, guys. It's L Hazelwood Jr. 13. And he's got some great content, man. He's got some funny videos in there. There's one about fixing a crack on someone's wall, I believe it was, that had cracked through the wall, and he's made this joke about breaking your mother's back and blah blah blah, all that fun stuff. So that was pretty funny. Good guy so far, man. So far, good guy. I bet he's a good guy. He's not a good guy only so far, man. What am I talking about? But love meeting you guys and all the content that you guys have been putting on the hashtag Fletched and Loaded. So thank you guys for doing that. I did want to talk about this last weekend. Was that Friday? Yeah, it was Friday. So a couple days ago, actually, I finally hit my 141-yard shot. And I seriously think that I'm still hyped from that shot. I've tried it 2 other times. This was my 3rd attempt going up there and trying to hit this mark. Again, it's on our Instagram at Fletched and Loaded Podcast. And I don't know. I was speechless. Like, you can see my reaction in the video. I couldn't believe that I actually hit this 141-yard shot. And my buddy Jake that I was able to go up with after work there, and he was filming, all we heard was a little tiny thud, and I don't think you can hear it in the video, but you can hear that we both were like, holy crap, I think you hit it. We walk up there, and I literally nailed this turkey that was on the bale right in the 10 ring. I just wanted to hit the carpet. I just wanted to hit the bale, man. I didn't even care if I was hitting accurate or not. I wasn't, but to be able to hit the 10 ring, yes, okay. It was mostly luck, yes. But I knew where I was shooting the last few times. I knew that I was only about 4 yards shy. And shooting instinctive, man, especially shooting that high up into the air, you can't get anything but excited when you're able to hit something like that. And so, guys, I did it. I hit 141 yards. I'm going to go up next time I go up, I'm going to go ahead and try to hit it again, because me, knowing myself, I can't just get excited about hitting it once. I got to be able to have that repeatability. And or it was just completely luck, maybe 20% skill, within that. But, man, I'm hoping to really hit it a couple times, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And, man, I can throw in bragging rights at that point, if I'm consistently hitting a 141-yard target, man, I better step up my game within that then, start grouping up a little bit closer. But anyways, yeah, that was really, really cool. I was so stoked to be able to finally hit that. Go ahead and check out that video and give it some likes, man. I want to try to get that going around just because it was such a fun shot, man. If I can recommend something to especially traditional guys, but also to compound guys, because this is extremely important, is practice practice at really long distances. It magnifies your mistakes extremely hugely. If you're releasing, off the string just a little bit left, right, up or down from pulling straight through the shot, you're gonna see it at exponentially a longer distance. So really anything past 40, 50 yards, man, that's going to, the distance of mistake is just going to magnify at that point. And, you know, a lot of the compound guys, man, they're so extremely accurate at those distances. But I've heard from John Dudley, you know, he practices at 60 plus yards. You know, he's shooting at sometimes 110 yards consistently. He's trying, you know, 80 yards, 90 yards. Hey, I shot a couple hundred arrows at 90 yards today, and I really saw this and that. And this is, of course, after like going through paper tuning and all the little things that he does. But, you know, there's something to say about practicing at those longer ranges that fine-tune the closer shots that you need to do. So what we've done actually a few times is we'll practice at 50, 60 yards consistently. We'll just pull and draw, or if I'm out, you know, up at Lone Pine shooting or something like that, I'm going to back up further than normal. And like there was a shot that Jake and I did this last Friday where we were standing on a log it was probably about 55, 60 yards away from the target, and just trying to challenge ourselves instead of just shooting flat surface all the time. And there's something super important about that, of course. But if you're wanting to do field archery and like 3D target style stuff, you're not going to get a deer, a turkey, an elk, a sheep, something like that. You're not going to get it that's just sitting right in front of you with no elevation change, no kind of obstacles to shoot around or anything like that. So we were shooting that and had a couple good shots. He took a video too. I took a video of him shooting earlier. But there's something to say, again, there's just something to say about shooting at longer distances. Then you get within 30 yards and closer, man, you're going to be just nailing that X every time, or at least a lot more than normal, just because you're so used to making those finite changes that you then within 30 yards, 20 yards, your bigger changes don't make as big of an impact. So it doesn't magnify your mistakes as much, which of course is just self-explanatory. So yeah, that was a great time shooting that long shot, man. Again, I'm going to try to take some more videos for you guys. And hey, if anyone wants to come up to Montana and shoot with us, man, let us know. Let us know if you're in the area, and we'll make a day of going up and shooting up at Lone Pine. That was it's one of our favorite spots that we love going. So yeah, we were able to go up there. Jake shot at it. My buddy Jake, I took a couple of photos and videos of him shooting too. And the dude's a beast. I mean, he's a shredded guy. Works out all the time, and man, he shows me up all the time too. But he unfortunately he lost an arrow, and this guy has lost. I think now this is his third arrow going up with us, and poor guy, man. He lost two when he was shooting at that 141 yard shot when it was my birthday. First time shooting at it ever. Lost both of his arrows that he had taken a shot on for that long shot, and we had actually just gone up to the shop to Spirit Quest to get his other arrows set up, and he lost another one, man, and it was such a bummer. Hey, my little baby boy's right here. Hi, Bubba. Come here. You guys get to say hi to my baby boy. Just a second. See if he's going to say something. You going to say something to everyone? This is super unprofessional, but I don't care. It's a podcast. You going to say something? Bye. You want to say something to everyone? Say hello, everyone. He just wants to play with the foam on the microphone. Yeah. I think that's the best we're going to get out of him. So thank you guys for putting up with me there so I could let my kiddo say hi to everyone. But yeah, going back to shooting, man. Sorry, Jake, you had to lose out on another arrow. But we looked, man. We looked for like 15 minutes trying to find this stinking arrow, man. He hit the top part of the bale, and it looked like the arrow actually tumbled, which was weird. But, you know, we went back there, man. We looked for, I don't even know, maybe 15 minutes, just all over that we can try to, we were like, okay, line it up. This is where, you know, it must have dug under the grass or flown up into a tree or something. I mean, you would think I would have seen that, though. You would have seen it flying up into the air. But so anyway, sorry, dude, you had to lose on another one. But that was a far shot, man. It was, I don't even know, maybe 70 yards. I think about 70 yards. So, you know, both of us had some pretty good shots on it, and then he had scoped in, sighted in at a wrong spot, and man, just shot too high, which happens. But, you know, so bummer, dude, on missing on that. But we always have a blast going up there, and it's always fun shooting with Jake. So thanks, buddy, for going out. Had a cool thing that I had heard on one of the Nock On podcasts. I kind of wanted to share with you guys because I'm kind of a diehard listener to his podcast. Haven't watched his, you know, the YouTube channel or anything like that, but except for maybe a couple videos. But he was actually sharing a very common thing that happens with archers, both traditional and compound, with sighting in, pulling through, doing your shot sequence correctly with as correct form as you possibly can, and for some reason still getting grouping down in, I believe he had stated, in the bottom right of where you were sighting in at. And he had said, you know, it's yeah, I know exactly what you're doing. I think it's someone had asked him the question. He was doing a Q&A thing, and they had said, man, no matter what I do, I have, you know, clean tears through the paper on my paper tuning. But every time I go up to the target and, you know, shoot 4, 5, 6 arrows at the X, I know I'm sighted in correctly, but I keep grouping just, you know, down and right of my target. And no matter what I do, you know. And he said, I can almost guarantee I know what's going on. And it was very interesting. He talked about peeking while you're shooting. And he pretty much just said, you know, we all want to see where that arrow goes, but making the shot accurate is, you know, a lot more important than seeing the arrow flying through the air right after your release. And so pretty much what he was stating was the fact that you got your bow up at full draw on that back wall for compound guys, and using your back tension to really pull, you know, tightening your rhomboids, holding that back pressure to pull through the shot, and the release goes off. And what he was talking about was, you know, the shooter's actually peeking to see if that arrow is flying towards the target. He wants to actually watch it fly from the bow and hit the X that he was aiming at. And so what was, you know, essentially what was happening was, as he drops that bow, he almost gets like a pre-drop on the release, and he was causing the arrow to actually drop away from where he was sighted. And so he was actually grouping just low on the target. And I thought that was super interesting because I've actually done that before with recurve, where my release, you know, I release the arrow and pull through, but I want to see if everything that I've worked on is working correctly. I want to make sure that, okay, it's going to hit where I want to see it fly through the air and hit my mark. But I've found that it's almost like I didn't go to full draw when that happens, because I hit, you know, a lot lower than where I was even trying to see where I was aiming, you know, because I shoot instinctive, so there's really no aim necessarily. You're focusing on a specific spot. But I know that even with traditional stuff, that happens, you know. So I've really been working on, you know, lining up my shot, really focusing on the spot that I'm going to hit at full draw, and just pull through. And almost just like Olympic shooters, how they shoot, you're relaxing your hand. You know, you're some people, like I've kind of gotten into the motion of doing almost putting more tension at the bottom of my riser, like with my pinky and ring finger on my bow hand, whereas releases off the string and my bow points. It's points towards the target that I'm shooting at. It's a big horse bow style of shooting. I know a lot of Asian cultures and stuff, they shoot that way, and I don't know why necessarily, like the scientific reasons or the physics reasons behind doing that kind of point release, but I know that it's caused the riser to get out of the way, and I'm actually able to know that my follow through with that is going to be still a smooth pull through follow through with my shot. And with trying to peek around the riser, peeking around to see where it went, I'm not dropping my arm then necessarily. I'm letting the bow drop from the risen position that my hand's at, looking at the target. So that was really something that caught my attention during his Q&A that he was talking about. This I think it's been a couple now podcasts ago, 2 or 3 episodes ago. But I'd never really thought about the fact that, I'm trying to see where this arrow's hitting. And it's too soon after my release am I trying to see where this is hitting. He actually said, dude, aim up, line up on that shot, sight in, pull all the way through the shot, and then after it's shot, do your follow through and don't let your arm come down. Grab the binos and then see where you hit. He's like, you can't pull that arrow back into your bow after it's shot. So let it shoot out of the bow, let it go and fly through the air and hit where it's going to hit. Then check where your shot was. So I don't know if you guys could take something from that as well, but man, I've really worked on that. If you start seeing that, especially trad guys, you're pulling through and you're hitting almost like you're not at full draw. Like, oh man, I had a full draw in there and I released and it still hit low and I don't know what's going on, but it's, more times than not, it's hitting under where I'm aiming. Of course, it can be some other aspects, but really maybe focus in on the fact that maybe you're peeking, maybe you're trying to, see where that arrow is going too closely to the release, if that makes sense. So hopefully you guys are able to take some of that info that I was able to take from John Dudley and put it to good use. I know compound guys deal with this too. You're so accurate with your sighting. You really want to see if you're hitting, that X. You're not hitting a 10, you're hitting an X, kind of thing. So follow through, let that arrow go. Don't try to peek. It's going to hit something and stop. So you're going to be able to check where it hit afterwards. So really maybe work on that. And it's something I've worked on, and I can say that I've gotten a lot more accurate when I don't care necessarily about where it's hitting, in the lightest term of or way of saying that. I'm still aiming, still releasing, and if everything is correct, all my pull through and follow through is correct, then I know that I'm going to be within the area that I'm aiming. And from there, you just kind of work on accuracy and really, really honing it in and grouping together closer. But anyways, that was a great thing that I picked up off of him and wanted to share with all you Fletched and Loaded listeners. So, thanks John for that. You are completely inspirational to all of us, and thank you for geeking out with all of us that enjoy that. Even trad guys like me enjoy the questions and the answers that you're able to give. So, another really cool not podcast, but another really cool product that I'd seen that is really cool, man. It's called Accubow. And I don't know if you guys have heard about this. It's spelled Accubow, Accubow. And it's a company that's actually made, it's in the form of a compound bow, but it almost has like a fitness band that represents the string. And you can actually turn the tension up on this practice bow. It's pretty much just a bare frame, like, I don't know what it's made out of because I wasn't able to see, but it's, very sturdy looking frame, but very basic. There's of course, no cams or anything like that. But you have the frame of what looks like a compound bow. And then where the string is, like I said, you have like almost like a fitness band, or like one of the fitness tubes that you guys, you can get, buy at Walmart or wherever you want to buy some of your fitness stuff. Is represents where the string is. And you can actually, the representative that was trying to tell some stuff on the product, he said you can actually tune this up in poundage between 10 pounds and 70 pounds, which is just phenomenal. That's incredible that it has that much of a range with a almost like a simulated draw and release equipment like this, a bow that you can use to really kind of hone in your accuracy on your bow. But it looks like what actually happens with it is you tune it up to what your poundage is, and then on the front end of the bow where the arrow would rest, there's a laser pointer, and you can turn that on, and you go to full draw, and the laser pointer shows exactly where you would be hitting. And the really, really cool thing about this that all of us archers know that we would love to do, but we know that it would be stupid to do, is you can actually dry fire this training bow. And you can do it as much as you want to. It's not going to damage anything. Of course, it's not your bow, your hunting bow or your target bow that you're shooting. It's a tool, and it's made to do this. And the thing that I thought was kind of cool that they were doing was they would set up a bullseye at this demonstration, and they'd have a guy that wants to check out this Accubow pull it full draw at his poundage, and that laser pointer, he would say, now just keep it right on that mark. And so they would do like these different intervals of holding at the mark for 10, 15 seconds without moving it, not moving it off that dot, seeing how long you could keep it on that dot without letting go. And then either they'd tell him to let it down, or he'd let him fire through that shot and see how much motion he would get off of his hand and all that. So it was a really cool product that they've been able to come out with to kind of do the repetitious work of drawing and firing your bow that honestly a lot of us archers have done with like fitness bands. I posted an early video of me working with a fitness tube band that I've created, just tying the fitness band in a circle at my draw length. And you can actually, hook it around your thumb. A lot of archers have done this for practice. Hook it around your thumb where the riser would sit on your left hand if you're right-handed, and pull that band back to your full draw and anchor. And then you can actually just pull through that shot and shoot the band, holding onto it or however your shooting style is. And I know compound guys, they've done it with like a piece of serving string where they make a little, almost like a D-loop, or they just loop it onto the string, their release. They loop onto the string, pull it at full draw at what their draw length is for that string around their thumb, just like I was saying. And then you can pull through your shot, and it can come, it comes off your release like you would pull through your shot, and it actually shows if you're punching the trigger or not. It's a great tool. So seeing these guys at Accubow go 10, 20 steps further than that, and hook it all up to a practice bow, a frame that you're able to dry fire over and over and over, it's incredible. I don't know of many products that have been made like this, and if there is, let me know. I'd love to shout out those companies as well. But this is the one that I'd seen that I was like, dang man, I gotta share this on the podcast. All the archers that I got out there. It's a really cool product, man. They've been all over Facebook and a couple different other places. And I'm gonna get you guys a website here that you can go to. Yeah, I thought so. I didn't want to just say accubow.com, but yeah, it's accubow.com, accubow.com. And I think they just started releasing these like late spring this year. So it's very, very new. And I haven't heard anything bad about it. There's actually a guy I saw on YouTube they do like a 10-day training session with this bow. So what he actually did was he took a 5-spot target before he had used this Accubow and shot, trying to get as close to the X or getting X's, as close as possible. And what he did was he measured from where the arrow landed, the distance from there to that specific X. And so he got 5 different measurements and added those centimeters together. And I think he was at like 16.6 centimeters total between the differences, the distances between the X that he was off. And then he said, I'm going to go ahead and do this 10-day training thing with the Accubow, and I'll come back and see if I've improved. And he came back and he shot, and right away you could see that, man, I mean, this thing was incredibly useful for him. He was, I think he had dropped down to like 6 or 7 centimeters. I don't remember the final number now, but on an average, between all of those. So that's extremely accurate. So apparently it helped him, and that was only after 10 days of doing it. And I think he said he only did like 10 minutes a day with this training tool. So 10 minutes a day for 10 days, and he was able to, close up those gaps on the X's that he was hitting. Excuse me. So great job, guys, over at Accubow. Any of you guys that check it out, and if you talk to them, let them know Fletched and Loaded podcast kind of just give you guys the heads up on that. Trying to get this podcast out there a little bit more, and get some more awareness to people that don't know about our show. So great thing on that. The other thing that I wanted to mention here today was a congratulations to Canada. Our friends to the north, they have I don't know if it's their first, but they have their only female Olympic archer this year in the Olympics. And her name, let me pull it up here again. I'm sorry, I had it saved. Now I don't have it saved, of course. It's a really long name, too. And I'm sorry if I mispronounced this, but I had to give her props because being the only female on this team is quite an accomplishment, and really proud of her. I believe it's pronounced Jorsey Stephanie Thifal Picard. I think it's Picard. Maybe it's just the Star Trek geek in me, but or it's Pickard, Picard. And she goes by Geo, kind of by her teammates, and she's representing Canada. So great job to her. She's worked really hard. I read this article on her that Archery 360 did, and that's a great page if you guys don't follow them already on Facebook. But they posted a little article that she was really into like swimming and other things like that, and she kind of just she had said something about like she had enough of her hair drying out and getting bleached when she was a little girl from swimming so much. And so she asked her parents if she could try a different sport. They put her in like a summer camp in Montreal, I believe it was. And she said there were 3 different things that she loved, and it was, what was the first one? Dang it. There was fencing. There's fencing, weightlifting, and archery. And I think her dad was like, "No, you're not going to do archery." The coach that she was working, or the person that taught her how to do archery, was like, "Wow, you really got a talent." And she was like, "Man, I really enjoy archery. I really enjoy doing this." And so she was kind of encouraged by her mom, because her dad was like, "I think it's more of a male-dominated sport. I don't want you doing it." And her mom was like, "Heck yeah, go ahead and do it. If you like it, let's do it. Let's get you into it." And her mom, I got to give her a bunch of props and shout out to her. What she did with her daughter at the time when she was young was, she said, "If you get a 9 on the target, I'm going to give you $1. If you get a 10, you get $2." And there was something that she had said, just a little bit later after shooting, she pretty much said like, "We can't do this anymore. I'm going to be out on the streets if if I keep paying you for all the great shots that you've been doing." So she encouraged her as best as she could, and it paid off. All of her hard work and the encouragement of her family has paid off. And so I gotta give her a salute and props for making the team as the only female archer on the Canadian team. So excited to see you guys compete on Friday. I don't know if Canada's, if all the countries shoot in one day. So new to the archery thing, especially with the Olympics. But, congratulations, guys, on making it, and to both the U.S. teams, Canada teams, all the other teams that are involved with the Olympics there in Rio. And, hopefully you guys place and do a great job. Of course, USA, go USA. Rooting for Brady Ellison. He's really a great guy to be able to watch shoot, and he's an amazing archer. So But props to her. Good job getting where you are, and all the hard work is paid off at this point. So, but yeah, I want to thank you guys for being able to stop in and listen for a little bit. I am working on some things with the podcast, with trying to get some guests in here that want to share some time and be able to talk about things that they've been able to do. I'm sorry I didn't have a lot on firearms today. I have been doing some scouting around, trying to find maybe some shotguns that I'm really interested in. I still want a coach gun really bad, a 12 gauge coach gun side by side. I've wanted one since I was, honestly, since I was a kid, and gotten to shoot a few of them, and so I'm looking at different brands and seeing kind of what I want to go for at this point. But as far as other things going on in my life with firearms, I'm still waiting for my concealed carry permit to get here in the mail. It's been almost a month now, so I might have to get a hold of them and see what's going on with it. But because I have no criminal record or anything like that, so it's always kind of weird waiting for any kind of documentation coming from the state. But still getting practice with my firearm, and really excited to be able to fulfill that. And I'm excited about teaching my kids about safety, like I am with archery. I'm teaching them with firearms, and I got great influences here around me, especially with Josh, being able to kind of share his knowledge with me, share it with my family. And so yeah, that's kind of what's been going on with that. For my this week's wants, I still got to stick with that Sam McSage longbow, man. It's either going to be that, or I know Travis, which brings up something on Instagram, Travis, that I talked about last week. I was pronouncing his last name wrong. I said Boyer, and from talking to him on chat, at least, I think it's Bauer is actually how you say it. He said that sometimes he goes by different, he was like joking about, he goes by different pronunciations of it just because, it's more fun doing, kind of in whatever circumstance it might kind of be working for him. But Bauer, I believe, is how you say it. And so Travis, thanks for correcting me on that. And if you guys ever want to write in and say hello, tell us about the podcast, I'm here, and we love hearing from you guys and hearing about different ideas that you might have for the show. We're always evolving, always changing, trying to make it more and more interesting, and just a good time for everyone just to hang out. So, hit us up on Instagram. I would, appreciate the likes and the follows on Instagram. We're at Fletched and Loaded Podcast on Instagram. You can follow me on Facebook at Tony Gershon. It's TONY space GROSHONG, which I have on, of course, on this podcast, so you can check that out. Also, I can't say it enough. Rating and reviewing on iTunes is such a huge thing for a podcast. So if you're able to have a little bit of time just to jump online and write something and, give us a rating for the show, hopefully it's up with the 4 and 5 star ratings as we evolve this show and make it more and more interesting. But if you guys are able to do that, it speaks volumes to Josh and I, with working as hard as we do with trying to get this show together and getting it out for you guys every week. So, appreciate it. Thank you guys for following. Hit us up on our Gmail if you want to share a story or maybe a challenge shot. We're still going to be doing that 30-yard egg shot. Just haven't had some time to be able to coordinate it with Josh, but we're going to be doing that. Follow us on those social medias, and thank you guys again so much for hanging out with me, and making you guys my audience has been such a pleasure for me. And thank you again for some of the guys on Instagram that have hit us up and let us know that they are enjoying the show. So rock on, guys. Until then, shoot straight, and have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you on Sunday of next week. All right, peace, guys. I'd like to thank Ben Sound for all the music used in this podcast. If you need some music for your project, go ahead and go over to www.bensound.com. That's www.bensound.com. Thanks very much.